My name is Alex, and saying my family is complicated would be putting it mildly. There's always been this kind of quiet tension hanging around us. Nobody ever talks about it out loud, but everyone feels it deep down. If you've ever been part of a family where things look normal on the outside, but you can just sense something is off, then you know exactly what I mean. We are not broke, but we are not rolling in money either. My parents got by just fine, and I guess I ended up doing something similar. I have a stable job, living from paycheck to paycheck, but I still manage to put a little aside when I can. Now, my cousin Danny, he is a whole different situation. We grew up side by side, but we never really clicked. He has always carried himself like the world owes him something, like everything should just fall into his lap. Back when we were kids, it was not as clear. But as we got older, that attitude became a lot more obvious. Especially when it came to me, he never really treated me with anything close to kindness. Sometimes he gives me this look, like it bothers him that I am doing all right in life. I remember a few years back, he was complaining to me about how hard things were for him, while driving around in a brand new car his parents bought. I mentioned that I was doing okay without ever having anything handed to me, and right away, he got all defensive. Fast forward to today, and I am sitting at another one of those family dinners, trying my best to stay calm. These gatherings are basically just a chance for everyone to pretend nothing is wrong. This one's at my aunt's place, a typical little house in the suburbs, white picket fence and all. But inside, the atmosphere is tense. My aunt, uncle, and all the cousins are there, same as always. The air is full of small talk and fake smiles. And of course, Danny is right in the center of it all, talking loud enough to be heard by everyone, but never saying anything worth listening to. He's always the loudest person in the room, bragging about some new gadget he bought or repeating one of his tired jokes for the 100th time. I just sit there, nodding along, counting down the minutes until I can leave. As usual, nobody brings up the stuff that really matters. Nobody talks about the fact that Danny acts like he deserves everything just because we are related. And there I am, once again, the odd one out, staying quiet and trying not to stir the pot while everyone else keeps pretending like everything is fine. Then the conversation shifts. My aunt asks how work is going. I do not mind the question. Work is steady. I tell her it is going fine, and she nods like it is the most fascinating answer she has heard all day. I get it. She is just making conversation. But it is clear nobody really wants the details. Then Danny chimes in. He looks at me with that smug little grin of his, and I already know something is coming. So, Alex, he says, tapping his fork against his plate. How's the job? Making good money these days? You always struck me as the type who would end up doing all right. He says it like he is just being friendly, but I know better. He is digging for numbers, trying to figure out how much I make. I do not respond right away. I can tell he is fishing. Oh, I say casually. Just working, saving a little here and there. Nothing major. I keep things vague and watch him carefully. I can tell he is not satisfied with that answer. He leans in, lowering his voice just enough so only the people nearby can hear. Yeah, well, you probably have a nice little stash saved up by now, huh? Must be nice, he says, flashing a smirk. He might think I do not notice the edge in his voice, but I catch it right away, that subtle challenge underneath his words. Then he adds, I have been thinking about getting a new car. But, with how things are right now, money is kinda tight. You get how it is, right? He lets that sentence hang in the air like bait, waiting for me to bite. But I do not. I take a slow sip of my drink, acting like I did not even hear the hint he just dropped. He probably thinks I am too dense to figure out what he is trying to do. He is looking for some kind of compliment or sympathy, hoping I will feel guilty for doing better than him. Oh yeah, I ask, keeping my voice light. Well, I am sure you will figure it out. That is when he pushes harder. I mean, come on. We are family, right? Danny leans in even more, and even though he is speaking barely above a whisper, he makes sure everyone at the table can hear him loud and clear. Family helps each other out, Danny says, leaning back in his chair like he's about to do me a favor. I was thinking maybe you could spot me a bit of cash. Just enough to help me get that car. He says it like it's no big deal. I know it's not a huge ask, he adds. After all, you've got it pretty good now. He looks at me like I should be honored that he's even asking. Like I owe him something. My mind starts racing. This isn't the first time Danny's come to me for money, and I know it won't be the last. But this time, something's different. He's not just asking for help. He's trying to guilt trip me. Like I should feel bad for not handing him cash just because we share a few strands of DNA. Still, I keep my voice calm. I don't know, man. I say evenly. I'm not really in the position to be handing out money right now. I catch the flash of irritation in his eyes, just for a second. He covers it up quick with a fake grin. Come on, Alex, he says, smooth and sweet. It's just family helping out family, right? I can feel every eye at the table on me. No one says a word, but I can tell they're listening, watching how I respond. The pressure is building. I can feel myself getting close to the edge, and then I remember something. Something I've been sitting on for months. Something that's about to turn this whole charade upside down. Without a word, I reach into my pocket and pull out my phone. I scroll through a few messages, slowly and deliberately. Danny's watching me now, uneasy, not sure what I'm doing. I look up, and a small smile tugs at the corner of my mouth. You want to talk about family helping each other out? I say, voice low but sharp. I hold out my phone. Then explain this. The whole table goes silent. I can feel every pair of eyes burning into me, but I don't look away. I keep my phone raised, angled just enough for Danny to see the screen. His grin fades. His eyes flick from me to the screen, and I watch the shift in his face, confusion first, then disbelief, and finally that flicker of panic. His lips twitch like he's about to speak, but nothing comes out. That's when I pull up the screenshot. It's a text from a few months back, one I'd forgotten about, until tonight. It's from a friend of mine, someone who got tired of hearing Danny run his mouth. The message reads, Danny's been trash-talking you again. Told everyone you're just some broke loser who got lucky with a job. And right under that, another one, even worse. He says you're not even worth asking for help. But hey, guess he only hits you up when he needs something. I watch the color drain from Danny's face. He looks like he just swallowed glass. I don't say a word. I don't have to. The text says it all. Danny stammers, trying to hold it together. He clears his throat, his voice shaky. Hey Alex, that's not... He stops. There's nothing he can say to fix this. The room stays silent, except for the low hum of the AC and the soft clink of silverware against plates. Everyone's staring. My aunt glances from Danny to me, clearly confused, trying to make sense of what she just witnessed. Danny lets out a weak laugh, desperate. Look, it's not what it looks like, okay? He trails off, staring back at the phone like it just betrayed him. He shifts in his seat, uncomfortable. His eyes dart around, looking for support. But no one's coming to his rescue. That's funny, I say, the sarcasm dripping from my voice. I didn't know family talked behind each other's backs like that. But hey, maybe I'm just overreacting, right? I let the silence settle. Let him sit in it. Let everyone else think about what that message really says. I don't have to look around to know what they're thinking. The worst part? My aunt's finally starting to piece it together. She turns to Danny, face tight with concern. Danny, what is this? She asks, her voice quiet. What's going on? I don't say a word. I don't have to. I let the silence speak for me. Let the truth fill the room and settle in their heads. Danny opens his mouth again, trying to speak, but nothing comes out. He's out of excuses, and everyone at the table is starting to see him for who he really is. The smug, entitled attitude he's always had is finally cracking, and for once, I'm not the one being judged. Just as I think I've got the upper hand, my uncle speaks up. All right, let's just calm down, he says, trying to smooth things over. Everyone's a little on edge, okay? But I can see it in his eyes. He doesn't believe Danny anymore. Not really. There's a look in the way he glances at me now, like he's wondering if this is just family drama or something deeper. Danny senses it, too. He turns to his dad for support. Dad, this is ridiculous, he mumbles. Alex is just trying to make me look bad in front of everyone. I was just asking for a little help, like any family would. This is blown way out of proportion. He's scrambling now, trying to spin it, but it's too late. The cracks are showing. I stand up, placing my phone face down on the table. I'm done with this conversation, I say. I'm not making you look bad, Danny. You're doing that all by yourself. Then I turn to my aunt and uncle. You want to know what real family is? I ask, my voice calm but firm. Family doesn't talk behind each other's backs. Family doesn't manipulate each other when they're in need. That's the kind of family I thought we were. Danny's face is flushed red now. I can see it in his eyes. He knows he messed up. He knows I'm not backing down this time. He shifts in his seat, avoiding everyone's eyes. The tension is thick, and then I make my move. You want money so badly? I ask, my voice slicing through the silence. Then explain this. I pick up my phone again, not to show another screenshot, but something else. Something that'll shut him down completely. I slide the phone across the table, face up. The screen glows in the dim light. Everyone holds their breath. Even Danny looks like he's seen a ghost. I don't say a word. The message on the screen does all the talking. Can you believe Alex actually thinks he's better than me? This guy gets a little bit of money and acts like he's some big shot. I wouldn't trust him with $1, let alone give him help. I'll just keep playing the victim card. Family always comes through when you need it. The room goes dead silent. Even my uncle leans back in his chair, stunned. My aunt's hand shakes as she reaches for her wine glass. Danny turns pale. His hand twitches as he tries to grab the phone, but I pull it back. You want to keep pretending you're the victim, Danny? I ask, voice cool and sharp. You want to keep playing the family helps family card? Or should we talk about how you've been trashing me to your friends, calling me a loser, while smiling to my face when you want something? His lips move, but no sound comes out. The arrogance is gone. For the first time in years, I see him for what he is, vulnerable. And I can tell he knows he's lost. The only sound is the faint clink of my aunt's glass as she sets it down. My uncle looks at Danny, then at me, then back at Danny. He's not calm anymore. He just looks tired, like he's finally realizing his son is the problem. Danny clears his throat, trying to save face. This is all a misunderstanding, he says, but his voice is small, weak, desperate. No, Danny, I reply, looking him straight in the eye. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is you trying to manipulate everyone around you. You've been playing the poor me card for so long, I say, steady and direct, making everyone think you've had it rough, that you deserve help. But the truth is, you've just been using everyone, including me. Danny opens his mouth, then shuts it again. No words. His eyes dart around the room, desperate for a way out, but it's clear, there isn't one. His shoulders sink, and for the first time, I see it, the reality of his actions finally hitting him. All the lies, the manipulation, the fake charm, it's all caught up to him. But I'm not finished. I turn to my aunt and uncle, and though my tone softens a bit, it's still firm. This is more than just calling Danny out. It's about showing them what they've been blind to for too long. I didn't want to do this in front of everyone, I say calmly, but you deserve to know what's really been going on. Danny's been manipulating this family for years, and now he thinks he can guilt me into giving him money, just because he's family. Danny's eyes go wide. He starts to speak. I didn't mean it like that, he stammers. I wasn't trying to manipulate Elle. Danny, I cut in, my voice rising a notch, sharp and clear. Stop. This is exactly what you do. You gaslight everyone into thinking you're the victim. And when that doesn't work, you fall back on the family guilt trip, like we all owe you something. I let the words hang there, the silence settling like fog around the table. Finally, my uncle speaks, his voice strained, disappointed. This isn't the first time, is it? He asks, staring straight at Danny. Danny's jaw tightens. He opens his mouth again, but my uncle raises a hand to silence him. You've been doing this for a while, he says. Using people, playing the victim, taking advantage of people's kindness whenever it's convenient for you. Danny says nothing. He can't. The truth has already landed. My uncle's words hit like a final blow, collapsing the image Danny's worked so hard to maintain. For a moment, I just stand there, letting it all sink in. It's finally over. Danny's no longer the golden boy who can do no wrong. The cracks are showing, and they're spreading. Before he can even try to speak, my aunt looks at me, her expression soft but filled with guilt. Alex, she says, her voice trembling. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. We should have seen this sooner. Danny looks at her, eyes pleading, but she doesn't look back. She's seen enough. I can feel everyone's eyes on me now. For a second, I wonder, did I take it too far? But no. This needed to happen. It was long overdue. Danny had gotten away with too much for too long. If this is what it takes for him to finally face the consequences, so be it. The silence in the room now isn't awkward. It's heavy, intentional. Everyone's waiting, unsure what comes next, but they know things won't go back to the way they were. I take a deep breath. There's one last thing I need to say. Just remember something, Danny, I say, voice low. Family isn't about using each other. It's about respect, honesty, not pretending to be someone you're not just to get what you want. He doesn't respond. There's nothing left for him to say. I've laid it all out, and now the ball's in his court. But then my aunt speaks again, softer this time, almost regretful. We're going to have to talk about this, Danny. All of us. There's no debate in her tone. It's final. And I know, whatever happens after tonight, everything has changed. Then Danny shifts his chair back and stands abruptly. His face is red, his eyes wide with humiliation and frustration. He shoots me one last look, but it's hollow now. The fire in him is gone. What replaced the fire in Danny's eyes wasn't anger. It was something worse, realization. He knew it was over. He knew he'd lost. And nothing he could say or do would fix it now. Without another word, he turned and stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind him. The whole house seemed to let out a breath, like the pressure that had been building finally released. My aunt and uncle sat frozen, stunned, trying to wrap their heads around everything that had just happened. "Alex," my uncle said finally, his voice rough with disbelief. I had no idea. I should have been paying more attention. You didn't deserve any of this." I nodded, feeling a tightness in my chest. "I don't expect anyone to know everything, Uncle Mark," I replied quietly. But it wasn't just about the money. It was how he treated me, how he manipulated people, thinking he could get away with it just because we're family. It had to stop. My aunt wiped at her eyes, her hands trembling slightly. "I'm so sorry, Alex," she whispered. "I didn't see it before. I'll make sure we talk about this, really talk, once Danny calms down. This family can't keep going like this." I nodded again, my eyes drifting toward the door Danny had walked out of. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't the last conversation we'd have about him. But for the first time in a long while, I felt relief. It had been messy, painful, but it was necessary. Dinner ended not long after. No one had much else to say. My aunt and uncle needed time to process, and honestly, so did I. I said my goodbyes and left, heading home with a storm of emotions swirling inside me. I was angry, furious at Danny for everything he'd done. But I also felt something else, closure. In the days that followed, Danny stayed silent. And honestly, that was for the best. He needed to sit with what he'd done, and maybe for once, reflect. But what surprised me most was how the rest of the family reacted. It wasn't just my aunt and uncle who reached out. It was my cousins, distant relatives, people I hadn't expected. They messaged me, called me, thanked me for standing up to him. They told me they'd seen the patterns too, felt the weight of his manipulation, but hadn't known how to say something. It felt good to know I wasn't alone. That people saw it now. That someone finally said out loud what many had felt in silence. As for Danny? Yeah, he eventually reached out, but not to apologize. Of course not. Instead, he tried to flip the script, tried to make me feel like I was the one who had gone too far. He told me the family would never be the same because of what I did. And you know what? He was right, but not in the way he meant. I didn't care anymore. I wasn't going to fix things for him. This was never about destroying him. It was about protecting myself. About finally saying, enough. Things aren't perfect now. He hasn't reached out since that last attempt, and I'm completely okay with that. Dealing with someone like Danny isn't easy, but I made one thing crystal clear. I'm done being a doormat. And for the first time in a long while, there's peace in my family. So that's where things stand now. And here's my question to you. What would you have done in my situation? Did I go too far? Or was it something that needed to happen? Because honestly, I'm still processing everything too.